Musical bumps, time for musical bumps. Musical bumps, time for musical bumps. I can clap my hands like this. I can clap my hands.
Hello! Hello everyone. I'm Margaret and I run baby, toddler and preschooler music classes in Tunbridge and Sevenoaks in Kent for families, and also I deliver the music lessons at nurseries and local schools. We've been asked by lots of the families that come to our classes if we can make some more videos like the ones that we used a lot throughout the year of lockdowns, and so we're starting with a couple of pumpkin seasonal stories. The first one is on a different film. You can find it on our channel. This one is a story about pumpkin soup. So if the children could make sure they've got a teddy or a soft toy to hand and some sound makers or instruments somewhere comfortable to sit, then we'll begin. First thing to do is sing hello. Hello, 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 how do you do? I'm pleased to be with you, and you, and you, and you. La 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 la. You can help me with that now. Hello, 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 how do you do? I'm pleased to be with you, and you, and you, and you. La 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 la. Today's story is called Pumpkin Soup. And you see my pumpkins behind me. Got quite a few pumpkins today, and even right behind me you can see Teddy Bumps sitting on a pumpkin. Pumpkin Soup, and it's written by a lady who's called Helen Cooper. Let's have a look and see what's happening with this pumpkin soup. Well, it's quite big, this book, so it might be tricky to see the pictures all of the time, but I will show you them. You might just have to wait a minute here or there. Deep in the woods, there's an old white cabin with pumpkins in the garden. There's a good smell of soup, and at night with luck you might see a bagpiping cat through the window, and a squirrel with a banjo, and a small singing duck. What a lot of music, a bagpipe and a banjo and a small singing duck. Look. There's the old white cabin, pumpkins in the garden, bagpiping cat, a squirrel with a banjo and a small singing duck. I wonder what they're going to get up to, the squirrel and the cat and the duck. Wow, the smell was pumpkin soup, the best you've ever tasted, made by the cat who slices up the pumpkin, made by the squirrel who stirs in the water, made by the duck who scoops up a pipkin of salt and tips in just enough. Look at that. He's adding in the salt. Lots of stirring of that soup. Yummy, yummy. I love pumpkin soup. Now where are they? They slurp their soup and play their song, then pop off to bed in a quilt stitched together by the cat. That's the covers. Embroidered by the squirrel to make it pretty, and filled with fine feathers from the duck. And it's peaceful in the old white cabin. Everyone has his own job to do. Everyone is happy, or so it seems. Maybe not everybody is happy. One morning, the duck woke up early. He tiptoed into the kitchen and smiled at the squirrel's special spoon. "Wouldn't it be fine," he murmured, "if I could be the head cook?" He drew up a stool, hopped on top and reached until his beak just touched the tip of the spoon. Kerplunk! Down it clattered. Then the duck trotted back to the bedroom, held up the spoon and said, "Today it is my turn to stir the soup." He's been very patient waiting for his turn. "That's mine," squeaked the squirrel. "Stirring is my job. Give that back." "You're much too small," snapped the cat. "We'll cook the way we always have." They're both very grumpy. But the duck held on tight until the squirrel tugged with all his might and whoops! The spoon spun through the air and bopped the cat on the head. Oh dear. Then there was trouble. A horrible squabble, a row, a racket, a rumpus in the old white cabin. I've got some spoons, just like those spoons. Look, here's one of my stirry spoons I could make pumpkin soup with. Let's see what's happening next. Pretty picture. "I'm not staying here," wailed the duck. "You never let me help with anything." And he packed up a barrow, put on his hat and waddled away. "You'll be back," stormed the cat, "after we've cleaned up." And the squirrel shook his spoon in the air. But the duck didn't come back. Not for breakfast. Not even for lunch. "I'll find him," scoffed the cat. "He'll be hiding outside. Look at that tall clock. The grandfather clock. I wonder where that duck has gone. He's run away to find some new friends, I think. I bet," whoops, that's gone a bit wobbly, hasn't he? "He's in the pumpkin patch." But the duck was not in the pumpkin patch. They could not find him anywhere. I can see on this page, I can see a ladybird, some other little creatures, mini beasts, but no duck. Well, they waited all that long afternoon. There's another picture of the clock. The cat watched the door, the squirrel paced the floor. "That duck will be sorry when he comes home," they muttered. But the duck didn't come home, not even at soup time, and they do like their soup. The soup wasn't tasty. They'd made it too salty. They didn't feel hungry anyway. They both sobbed over supper, and their tears dripped into the soup and made it even saltier. Blech. "We should have let him stir the soup," sniffed the squirrel. "He was only trying to help," wept the cat. "Let's go out and look for him." The cat and the squirrel were scared as they wandered down the path in the dark, dark woods. They feared for the duck all alone with the trees and the foxes and the wolves and the witches and the bears. But they couldn't find him. It's a little bit scary, that picture. It's not one of my favourites. On and on they trotted. They reached the edge of a steep, steep cliff. "Maybe he fell down that," wailed the cat. "I'll save him," squeaked the squirrel, and he scrambled down on a long, shaky rope. He searched all around on the ground, but he couldn't find the duck. That is such a long way down. Being very brave. Then the cat whispered in a sad little voice, "Duck might have found some better friends." "He might," yelped the squirrel, "friends who let him help." And the more they thought about it as they plodded back, the more they were sure that they were right. Oh, dearie me. But when they were almost home, they saw light shining from the old white cabin. "It's Duck!" they shrieked as they burst through the door. And Duck was so pleased to see them. He was also very hungry, and though it was late, they thought they would all make... What do you think they're going to make? Maybe they are going to make spaghetti bolognese. They made some pumpkin soup. What a mess they're making. When the duck stirred, because he wanted a turn stirring, the cat and the squirrel didn't say a word. Not even when the duck stirred the soup so fast that it slopped right out of the pot. Not even when the pot got burnt. Then the duck showed the squirrel how to measure out the salt, and the soup was still the best you ever tasted. So once again it was peaceful in the old white cabin until the duck said, "I think I'll play the bagpipes now." And did you know that bagpipes are really very noisy instruments? I might even have some music for the bagpipes. Let me have a look, see if I've got some bagpipe music, then you can hear what it sounds like. So I don't think it was very quiet and peaceful in their house after all that, was it? Nice story. I love that story. So here is a duck. Quack, quack. Here is a cat. Meow. Here is, this is my favourite today, here is a squirrel. Nibble, nibble, nibble. He's coming to have a look at you. Look at his tail. Isn't that lovely? So that's all the things we had in the story, isn't it? A squirrel, a cat, a duck, and I'm going to choose one more animal for my next song. Ruff, ruff. What is it? Ruff, ruff. Yes, it's a dog with floppy ears. So first of all, we're going to have the cat. This song is called Bought Me a Cat. Cat pleased me. You might be able to help me with some of the sounds in this one. Let's find the music. Bought me a cat. Bought me a cat, cat pleased me, fed my cat under yonder tree. Cat went fiddle-I-fee, meow. Bought me a duck, duck pleased me, fed my duck under yonder tree. Duck went quack, quack, cat went fiddle-I-fee, meow. Bought me a squirrel, squirrel pleased me, fed my squirrel under yonder tree. Squirrel went nibble, nibble, duck went quack, quack, cat went fiddle-I-fee, meow. What's left? Bought me a dog, dog pleased me, fed my dog under yonder tree. Dog went woof, woof, squirrel went nibble, nibble, duck went quack, quack, cat went fiddle-I-fee, meow. Give yourself a little clap if you were helping me with the singing with that one. For the next song, you need to find some tappers, anything you can make a tapping sound with. I've got 2 wooden spoons, like the ones in the story. We are going to make some pretend pumpkin soup. Chip, chop, all the vegetables up to go in the soup. Chip, chop, chippity chop. Chop off the bottom and chop off the top. Anything left we will put in the pot. Chip, chop, chippity chop. First of all, I'm going to put onions in the soup. Chip, chop, chippity chop. Chop off the bottom and chop off the top. Anything left we will put in the pot. Chip, chop, chippity chop. Stir up the onions. What shall we put in next? Well, you could choose what you're going to put in your soup next. I'm going to choose next carrots. Chip, chop, chippity chop. Chop off the bottom and chop off the top. Anything left we will put in the pot. Chip, chop, chippity chop. Stir up that soup. What shall we have next? How about, shall we put broccoli in or peas? What do you think? You're going to choose broccoli? Are you going to choose peas? I'm going to have peas in my soup. Little tiny chip chops, because peas are very tiny little vegetables. Chip, chop, chippity chop. Chop off the bottom and chop off the top. Anything left we will put in the pot. Chip, chop, chippity chop. Stir up the peas. And what's the most important thing to put in pumpkin soup? What do you think? What is the most important thing to put into pumpkin soup? We need to chop up the pumpkin. Sorry, pumpkin. It's time for you to go into the soup. Your chopper's ready? Off we go. Chip, chop, chippity chop. Chop off the bottom and chop off the top. Anything left we will put in the pot. Chip, chop, chippity chop. Stir up the soup. Now, it's nearly time for me to think of another song, but you could play the chip chop game when I'm not here. Perhaps you could play it while you're having your tea or even making your breakfast, and think about all sorts of different funny things you could put in soup. Maybe you might even put lollipops in your soup, or sweeties. That wouldn't be very good though, would it? In the story that we just looked at, do you remember that there was a picture of a clock, a great big clock called a grandfather clock? This one's a really tall, big clock. And I know a song that's about all sorts of different clocks. Our tappers make a really nice tick-tock sound, like a clock does, going tick-tock, tick-tock. What does the clock in the hall say? Tick, tock, tick, tock. What does the clock on the wall say? Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. What do little watches all say? Tick-a, 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 tock. And the grandfather clock says boing, 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 boing. What does the clock in the hall say? Tick, tock, tick, tock. What does the clock on the wall say? Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. What do little watches all say? Tick-a, 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 tock. And the grandfather clock says boing, 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 boing. Good, I do like that one. Have a clap. Best time to stand up to stretch our legs, everyone. I think you've been sitting down a long time. This next one, if you've got a friend or your brother or your sister or your grown-up there, you need to look at each other and hold two hands together. So you're going to do Ring of Roses, but this one isn't Ring of Roses, it's about a pumpkin. You're going to turn round in a circle, round you go. Sing a song of pumpkins, orange, big and round. Now go round the other way. Growing in the garden, orange, big and round. Back the other way. Picking up the pumpkins, orange, big and round. Back the other way. Make a pumpkin pie, it's orange, big and round. We're not making pumpkin soup with this song, we're making pumpkin pie. Ready to go round again? Remember, we keep changing direction. Sing a song of pumpkins, orange, big and round, growing in the garden, orange, big and round. Picking up the pumpkins, orange, big and round. Make a pumpkin pie, it's orange, big and round. Let's do it one more time. How about a bit faster? Be careful, make sure it's safe on your floor. Sing a song of pumpkins, orange, big and round, growing in the garden, orange, big and round. Change direction. Picking up the pumpkins, orange, big and round. Make a pumpkin pie, it's orange, big and round. Lots of good fun. Have a clap. We've got time just for one more quick song. That was a long story, wasn't it? This is a lullaby song, so find yourself a teddy to cuddle. I think I might cuddle Squirrel, because I'm quite fond of my squirrel. Look, have a little wave, Squirrel. Then it's cuddle time for a lullaby. This lullaby is called Last Night as I Lay Sleeping, and it's all about some dreams going to different places, different islands, the Isle of Skye and the Isle of Man and the Isle of Wight. So I wonder whether that might be where Duck in the story went to. Maybe he went to the Isle of Wight, the Isle of Man. Ready for a cuddle? Last night as I lay sleeping, I dreamt that I was sailing to the Isle of Man in a frying pan and back again by morning. The Isle of Man in a frying pan. It's a funny song. Last night as I lay sleeping, I dreamt that I was flying to the Isle of Wight on a big red kite and back again by morning. Last night as I lay sleeping, I dreamt that I was floating to the Isle of Skye on an apple pie and back again by morning. Do you think Squirrel's gone to sleep? No, I think he's just having a cuddle. Don't think he was ready to go to sleep. It's time for me to go now, everybody, but I'm going to look forward to seeing you all again very soon.